and I hope everyone has had a great time at the career fair. Some amazing booths set up, amazing professionals representing their departments, and I learned so much from the fellow peers here who have delivered amazing talks. I've taken a lot from it, and I'm going to be taking the feedback, focusing on the AI and doing all of that. So my name is Ashneet Singh. I also go by Ash, for any that know me. And I'm here to talk about something that I feel that's very important, something that I don't think we talk about enough. It's the art of advocating for yourself. Right? Quick show of hands, how many of you here have ever, at any point in your life, professionally, personally, whatever, have ever been overlooked or undervalued? Okay, wow. I think every single person raised their hand. Okay, so we've all lived this, right? So this is going to be very relatable then. People think of other people who advocate for themselves as being very arrogant or pushy, but that's not the case. Self-advocacy is about self-belief, self-confidence, and being assertive in a positive way, right? So, but how do you build that self-confidence? There's a lot that goes into that. Let me take you back quite a few years when I was doing my undergrad degree. I was completing my bachelor's in life sciences and biology from McMaster. Any fellow Marauders here? One? Okay, awesome. Great years, some of the best years of my life. And I remember though, in the last couple of years when I was completing my undergrad, I realized I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know what to do after graduating. I had no direct career path. I knew I wanted to be in healthcare in some regard, but I didn't know what. When I started university, I had the thought of maybe I'll do direct patient work. I'll do clinical care as a physician or a nurse or something like that. But when I started to do some job shadowing, with some clinicians, I realized direct patient care, hands-on care wasn't for me. I knew I wanted to stay in healthcare, but again, I didn't know what. I had an interest in business and tech, but I didn't know how to merge them together. So that point in my life was a very low point. I was distraught, I didn't know what to do, I knew I was stuck, and it was quite depressing. I needed a way to get around that. I spoke to several professional career counselors. I asked them for help, but over the course of several months, nothing productive came out of that conversation. So I was stuck again. This time though, I chose the route of opening up a little bit more, but to my own close family and close friends. And I realized right away that I was able to open up a lot more and a lot quicker than the professional career counselors. And to my delight, someone in my close circle of trust was working in that very intersection of healthcare, business, and tech. And they literally helped me pen down and write down on paper who I was as a person, what I believed in, what my skill sets were, and what my professional aspirations were. And they then guided me to enrolling in the Master's eHealth or Digital Health program at McMaster, which is what I completed. A lot of stories there, but I'll spare you for today. And I realized in that exercise of working with that guide that I had in my circle of trust, I realized a few very important things. One, how important it is to understand and acknowledge that you're stuck and to feel okay with it. To feel okay with you stumbling. To feel okay that you need help. And two, how important it is for you to communicate and ask for support, right? Build your circle of trust. Open up and be honest. And three, how important it is for you to set a baseline understanding of who you are as a person. If you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're going to want, right? So, fast forward a couple of years, I completed my master's program, another great set of years, and then after completing it, I got into the field of digital health, and I was hired as a project consultant in the company prior to Point of Care. I used to work at the hospital here, Brampton Civic Hospital. And then I got promoted to project manager. I was a great PM, managed projects for a couple of years. And then I started to realize my day-to-day started to become very mundane and repetitive. I needed a way to challenge myself more. So I realized, you know what, I want to manage larger projects, more complex projects that will challenge people. But I didn't have that much experience under my belt. That level of responsibility was given to more senior PMs at that time. And I knew I could do it. I knew I could take on that responsibility, but I still had a little bit of self-doubt, and I didn't know how to speak up for myself. And that's when I realized it's not enough to just believe in yourself. You have to be able to communicate your value to others. And at that point, there was another pivotal shift in my career. I once again built my circle of trust, this time at the workplace. I was lucky enough to gain a mentor who had quite a lot of experience professionally and a lot of experience at the organization. And lucky for me, they introduced me to some executive sponsors at the organization who had given me the opportunity to sit in and just do a little bit of job shadowing. I sat in a few steering committee meetings on large projects. And this was all while managing my own workload of projects. But I put my head down and I said to myself, I'm going to learn. I learned a lot about professional behavior. I learned a lot about interacting with others. I learned a lot about problem solving. But most importantly, I learned a lot about the power of networking. And seeing this, my immediate people leader at that time saw that I was trying my best to seek out more responsibility. And thankfully enough, they gave me a similar project of my own, of a large, complex, and transformative nature, which I'm, again, very thankful of. I remember, though, at my very first steering committee meeting for that project, I addressed everyone as, welcome everyone, as you would, but I had the most horrible voice crack ever when I started it. So my confidence shot down so low. That meeting sucked. I couldn't have a worse meeting. As I couldn't get my point across, I couldn't present, I didn't know what to do. But I learned from it. Over the years, I got better at communicating and presenting, so I was okay. And on the side, my mentor continued to coach me, not on technical project delivery, I knew how to do that, but more so on how to continue to gain self-confidence, on how to continue to build a support system, and most importantly, on how to take initiative. And then I took it upon myself to attend professional career events, conferences where I met with peers, senior leaders, and even some industry experts. That's where I started to develop a service and value-driven mindset. I used to think of networking as a necessary evil, something that you have to do in order to get ahead, and it's like a one-sided thing, and it's very like a transactional in nature. But I realized I was thinking it wrong. It felt a little psychologically dirty when I thought of, okay, how can this person help me? What can this person do for me? But I realized I was thinking of it wrong. I was doing it wrong. You have to think of it as a relational investor, where you're now asking the questions, how can I serve you? How can I be of help to you? Right? And this shift in mindset was another pivotal change in the way I was presenting myself and interacting with others, which my mentor helped curate. Quick show of hands, how many of you have gone out and taken time out of your day to help someone without the thought of, what is this going to do for me, and then felt happy about it? Again, pretty much everyone. Right? That's what it's about. The way you present yourself to others, the way you showcase yourself speaks volumes on your behalf and helps build your social capital. Fast forward another couple years here at Point Click Care, I'm fortunate enough for some of my peers to consider me a mentor and coach. I've heard that a few of my peers have reached out to my people leader, including Harvey, and have shared that they consider me as a valuable asset to the organization. Hearing something like that did wonders for me. It helps build your self-confidence. I'm going to take a little bit of a tangent here, and I'm going to share something that over the course of the many years of managing projects and being a professional, I started to build more and more responsibility. I realized there's a lot riding on my shoulders. I need to make sure that I deliver these projects successfully. And naturally, I started to get a little bit stressed out, a little bit pressured. But and the reason why I'm bringing this up is in the last couple of weeks, I was scrolling through my social media and I saw an advertisement from Nike partnered with my favorite basketball player, LeBron James. Any basketball fans, LeBron James fans? Yeah, okay. And that advertisement said something that I want to share with you. You never get used to the pressure. You just learn to embrace it. Expectations aren't a burden, they're a privilege. Because it could be worse. No one could expect anything at all. That's quite hard-hitting. And what is this telling you? It's telling you that there's a reason why people expect something of you. Because they trust you. Because they trust in your responsibility to be able to deliver on those expectations. And that reinforces and continues to build that self-confidence. Right? So there's another very vital aspect of self-advocacy that I want to share with you, and that is the power of personal branding. And personal branding, as you become more and more of a professional, it becomes more and more important. For me, one of the very, very big aspects of personal branding is cultural identity. I was born in the vibrant city of New Delhi, and I was brought up and raised in the city of Brampton, been living there since. I represent my community very well, I believe. And I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded professionally and personally by people of a very diverse background who have helped shape the way I interact with people and my very work ethic. In my prior experience at Point of Care, I've tried to infuse DEI with every single practice that I do. And here I'm involved, and I'm a member of the Asian Islander and Pacific Heritage Committee. I've helped write a couple of SharePoint pages on something from my culture, like the importance of and the significance of Diwali, Sikh heritage, which is what I practice, and I've helped kind of plan a few events here and there. I was overwhelmed with the amount of positive feedback that I was receiving from my peers who had read a few of the articles that I shared, and they said to me, "We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to share something from your culture." And that helped reinforce my belief in thinking that building a cultural identity and sharing things from your culture is a huge part of personal branding. It wasn't always easy for me to do that in the workplace. Where I used to work, and in the past, I didn't always have leaders that believed in the thought of innovation through inclusivity. And considering, I look the way I look, I realized I looked very different to other people sitting in the room in a professional workplace. And started a little bit of self-doubt started to creep in. I'm like, I need to find a way to integrate, but also blend in. I was thinking of it wrong once again. I realized over time that it is the fact that I stand out makes me who I am and makes me unique. And I feel like that helps me be potentially a little bit more relatable and approachable to others. Now, I don't shy away from showcasing my culture in the workplace. When we have our on-site gatherings in the evenings, in the off hours, when there's music playing, I play some cultural music, and I love to dance. So, crack a little dance step here and there, and it further boosts my self-confidence. Right? So, there's other aspects of personal branding outside of culture that I want to quickly share as well. It's your core skill set, your presentation skills, the way you interact with others, the way you represent yourself as an individual and professional who honors your personal journey. That's what personal branding is all about. So to wrap up, essentially what self-advocacy means to me is that it's something where you know who you are, you know how to communicate your self-worth, you know how to build a support system around you, and you know how to build a personal brand. The art of the hustle is not about getting ahead. It's about bringing everyone else up as you climb. If you remember last week when Dave, our CEO, was giving the FY 2025 presentation on the outlook, one of the key takeaways that I took from that presentation was do everything with purpose and intent. He gave an example of going to the gym here. He said, do that with purpose and intent. It's the same thing when it comes to advocating for yourself. Do it with purpose and intent, right? So as I leave you, I'm gonna share with you 3 things that I want you all to do as you start to go in your own journey of self-advocacy if you aren't already there. The first thing is document your achievements. Literally write down, as my mentor did with me, who you are, what are you good at, what do you lack in terms of experience and skill, and what accomplishments have you had in the past that will help you succeed in your future. And 2, speak up and seek support. Build that circle of trust. Consider it important and valid to understand that you're stuck and you need help. And be open and honest with your circle of trust. And then finally, build and leverage your network using your personal brand. Do not think of networking as a necessary evil. Consider it as a mutual relationship. Help it develop your personal brand. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to join the talk today. This was my very first style of talk like this, so I hope I did a decent job at it. And I hope you got something out of this that you can take in your day-to-day. And I'm here if you have any questions or if you just want to have a chat. But thank you again for joining.
Thanks,